This Warlock build is absolutely insane. You'll be unkillable, your weapons will always be buffed, and your abilities? Practically unlimited. Devour keeps you alive, Radiant boosts your weapon damage 100% of the time, and with how fast you'll be generating Transcendence Energy, you'll be throwing grenades and charging your super at record speeds. If you want a build that lets you spam abilities, never die, and delete enemies faster than ever, then stick around because this is one of the strongest setups in Destiny 2 right now. Welcome to Insightful Gaming. Today, we're diving deep into a Prismatic Warlock build that combines Skull of Dire Ahamkara, bad Juju, and a deadly synergy of fragments and aspects to create an ability loop that never stops. Whether you're farming Nightfalls, clearing raids, or dominating PvE, this build will turn you into a self-sustaining powerhouse that keeps healing, buffing, and exploding enemies on repeat. If you enjoy game-breaking builds like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more Destiny 2 guides, and drop a comment below with your favorite prismatic combos. Now, let's jump into the full breakdown of this God-Tier Warlock setup. At the core of this build is the Skull of Dire Ahamkara, one of the most underrated yet insanely powerful exotics for Warlocks in the Prismatic subclass. This exotic dramatically boosts your super regeneration and provides incredible damage resistance while casting your super, making you a tank in high-level content. But what makes it even more ridiculous in this build is how fast you'll be cycling through supers thanks to your rapid Transcendence Energy generation and the synergy with bad Juju. Every time you pop your Void super, you'll not only deal massive damage, but you'll also instantly refund a chunk of your super energy, keeping the loop going. And since Facet of Grace lets you generate even more Transcendence Energy from super kills, you're constantly setting yourself up for the next super, melee, grenade, and ability chain. On top of that, Skull of Dire Ahamkara gives you a huge survivability boost while casting your super, letting you safely nuke enemies in Grandmasters, raids, and high-end Nightfalls without worrying about getting melted mid-cast. Since this build is all about keeping your abilities up at all times, this exotic is the perfect choice to fuel your gameplay loop. If you've never given Skull of Dire Ahamkara a real chance, this build will completely change your mind. For this build, we're running bad Juju as our primary weapon, and let me tell you, this thing is absolutely perfect for what we're trying to accomplish. Bad Juju is already one of the best weapons for ability-based builds thanks to its String of Curses perk, which refunds super energy with every kill while also giving you a stacking damage buff. But when combined with Facet of Grace, things get absolutely ridiculous. Every kill with bad Juju not only charges your super, but also grants you extra Transcendence Energy, speeding up your ability cooldowns even more. And since defeating enemies with your super also grants even more Transcendence Energy, this weapon directly fuels your entire build's ability loop, keeping your abilities, grenades, and supers cycling non-stop. For the heavy slot, I'm using a strand machine gun with Hatchling since it pairs really well with this build's fast grenade uptime and darkness energy generation. The Hatchling perk spawns threadlings on precision kills, adding extra wave clear and damage while feeding into your strand synergy. But honestly, you can flex this slot based on your preference. Your melee ability, Arcane Needle, plays a crucial role here. It's a fast tracking projectile that applies Seva, reducing enemy damage while helping you trigger Facet of Balance for bonus grenade energy. Since melee kills also refresh Devour, every hit keeps you alive and fuels your ability loop. For grenades, we're running Vortex Grenade, one of the best options for crowd control and raw damage. It locks down groups of enemies, applies massive area damage, and works perfectly with Feed the Void, allowing you to maintain Devour and chain ability energy non-stop. For mobility and survivability, Phoenix Dive is the perfect choice. Not only does it give you a quick escape option, but it also activates Hellion, summoning a Solar Mortar, which further fuels Feed the Void, granting you Devour. This build's power comes from a carefully chosen combination of aspects and fragments that maximize ability uptime, healing, and Transcendence Energy generation. The first aspect we're using is Hellion, which summons a Solar Mortar whenever you activate Phoenix Dive. This not only provides extra area damage, but also triggers Feed the Void, ensuring you have Devour active at all times. Since Devour fully restores your health and refunds grenade energy on kills, this creates an infinite loop of survival and ability spam. The second aspect, Feed the Void, is the backbone of this build, keeping your healing and ability regen rolling every time you secure a Void kill. With Hellion activating Feed the Void every time you use Phoenix Dive, you'll never have to worry about losing Devour. To enhance this synergy even further, we're using a powerful set of fragments that push ability uptime and damage output to ridiculous levels. Facet of Dawn ensures you have 100% radiant uptime, as every melee kill refreshes the buff, giving your weapons a constant 25% damage boost. Since Radiant is considered an elemental buff, it also triggers Facet of Hope, which speeds up your class ability cooldown, meaning Phoenix Dive will always be ready when you need it. Next, Facet of Sacrifice takes this even further by granting bonus Darkness Transcendence Energy whenever you get ability kills while you have an elemental buff. Since Radiant counts as a solar buff and is always active, this means every single grenade, melee, and super kill will generate extra Transcendence Energy. To capitalize on this, we're also using Facet of Grace, which grants bonus Transcendence Energy when you defeat targets with kinetic weapons and supers. This is where bad Juju becomes game-changing. Every kill with bad Juju is not only refunding super energy through String of Curses, but also stacking extra Transcendence Energy through Facet of Grace, making it the perfect weapon to fuel this build's ability loop. The final fragment slot is flexible, but for this build, we're using Facet of Balance. This fragment grants melee energy when you defeat targets with light damage, and grenade energy when you defeat targets with darkness damage. Since light damage comes from grenade kills and solar weapon equipped in special slot, and darkness damage comes from Arcane Needle and your Strand Machine Gun, this fragment provides a constant supply of both melee and grenade energy, allowing you to keep spamming abilities without interruption. To push this build's ability spam and survivability to the max, we're using armor mods that accelerate grenade regeneration, super energy, and class ability uptime. On the helmet, Ashes to Assets grants super energy on grenade kills. Kinetic Siphon generates orbs of power with bad Juju, and Dynamo for more super energy when you cast Phoenix Dive. On gauntlets, Grenade Kickstart refunds grenade energy after every throw, while Bolstering Detonation regenerates class ability energy whenever grenades hit enemies, speeding up Phoenix Dive to keep Devour active. Firepower ensures grenades create orbs of power, feeding into even faster ability cooldowns. For chest mods, go with your choice of defensive mods with Charged Up. On legs, 2 innovation converts. Orbs into grenade energy, and stacks on stacks doubles armor charge gains, keeping energy generation consistent. Finally, on the Warlock Bond, 2 bomber modules shave seconds off grenade cooldowns whenever you activate Phoenix Dive. And finally, we are using Reaper for more orbs of power. With this build, you become an unstoppable Warlock, constantly healing through Devour, buffing your weapons with Radiant, and cycling abilities faster than ever thanks to insane Transcendence Energy generation. If you found this guide helpful, drop a like, subscribe for more Destiny 2 builds, and share your favorite prismatic combos in the comments. I read every single one, and your idea might just be featured in the next video. Now get out there, spam those abilities, and show the darkness who's boss.